This is Race Review, your driver feedback of every race night, hosted by Sean Whitney and Ryan Plexico.
Welcome back to episode 2 of Race Review, where we're going to break down our first race of the season at Stockton Dirt Track. So it's been 4 months since we last raced. We had quite the off season to tear down the cars and do whatever necessary. What'd your off season consist of?
Off season consisted of, coming back. I think our last race was Stockton. So coming back from Stockton, kind of tore the car down. Looked at the car, let it sit there for a while.
Wow, that looks nice. Shiny.
No, it was not shiny. We let the dirt cake on there, made sure so when we do decide, let's go clean this thing. It was hard to get off.
Yeah.
Made sure it was nice and rusty because I got that bare raw frame with no clear coat, so that makes it fun.
Yep.
But, once the season started closing up, we just, get everything ready, make sure we're all squared away for Stockton again as our first race, and there we are.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. In your off season, do you tear everything down with the car, pull the motor, anything like that?
Last off season, yes. This off season, no.
So that's a good thing, I'm assuming, that your car was pretty straight. Everything dimension wise was where it should be. Yeah.
Yep. Everything was squared away. I knew once we got ready for Stockton coming up, it's like we shouldn't have much to do. We just came from Stockton. Our setup should be the same, just minor changes if something got tweaked from the ride home and cleaning it and getting it ready. But
other than that, good to go.
Yep.
Yeah, mine was kind of the same. I know my car is a little bent, though, in the front clip, but I did not pull the motor. I got kind of lazy. Mine was basically just clean the car more than I've ever cleaned it before. And I think the biggest surprise was I cleaned the fuel filter for the first time ever. And it was basically like dumping out a cup of dirt just onto the floor. And yeah, that was pretty bad. So we're all good now, hopefully. Car's clean. Yeah, we took it to Stockton, where we had our season opener on February 8th. And let's talk about just pulling up to Stockton on that Saturday. To me, it was kind of a weird start. The normal pit entry was, I guess, all muddy, and so we couldn't come in there. So that kind of threw things off. Entering the pits, it was a ton of modifieds. That was all I saw. And you got there before I did.
Yeah, it was modifieds for sure. They were planning, I think, like 7 classes that night. So, Stockton doesn't have a big pit area. And, they don't normally use a big pit area. But they, a lot of modifieds, B&A mods. Wasn't for sure. I didn't know how many dwarfs we would get showing up at all.
Yep.
So, it was really, it was just kind of interesting.
Yeah, we ended up having, 20 dwarf cars show up?
Yep.
I think there was somewhere around the 40 car count for the modifieds and small sprint car turnout.
Yeah, I think there's only like 10.
Yeah, which is, I guess, not too surprising, being as though they're probably all still getting their cars ready. So, yeah, we went out for hot laps. And, well, first off, before going out for the hot laps, it was a mad scramble to try and get you a laptop to try and get your transponder subscription updated.
Yeah, this is the second time we've gone to Stockton at the beginning of the year and forgot to redo the subscription on the transponder. So
let's not make it a running tradition.
Nope, or at least bring a laptop every time, just play on it.
Yeah, but that was a pretty funny experience because we got to go up into the announcer's booth, use the announcer's laptop, and for whatever reason, something took a turn for the worst, and the laptop went black. And the look on Lowitt's face was just pure panic. Like, what happened? I just screwed this guy's whole laptop. Didn't do anything to it, but got everything figured out.
Yep.
It was pretty neat to be up in the announcer's booth and kind of look down on the track and everyone there. We learned that Speed Shift TV was covering the race, so if you guys didn't get to watch it or weren't there, you can go check it out on speedshifttv.com. But yeah, so hot laps, we jumped right in. Of course, like always, Sean Whitney set the fastest lap time in the hot laps. How'd you feel out there for that session?
You know, I felt pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm sure. It looked pretty nice.
It was, Stockton as always, hitting the chip, thinking
hardcore in those
it's gonna
hot
be
laps.
an interesting night, and just normal, tacky Stockton.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. I was pretty surprised with myself. I don't think I've ever really cracked the top 10 in hot laps. Not that it really means anything, but to me it meant something. And yeah, I was all over the chip as well. And luckily the track kind of came to us a little bit, I guess, for the heat race, which you and I had the grace to be in the same heat race with.
Well, let's before we talk about the same heat race, it's become a tradition now that every time we go do our pill draw, we go,
every single time.
Same time. And the person before us goes, we'd look at each other. Who's going first this time? So every time that I decide to go first, I get probably the worst pill, and he gets like the best pill.
Always.
So I looked at him again. Who's going first? He said, doesn't care to me. So I'm okay. I'll go first. Why not? I pulled a 54, I think it was.
Yeah.
Walked away, turned around.
I pull mine, 51. Basically the same damn number. And we're like, there's no way that we're going to start in the same heat race. And if we are, we'll be right next to each other. And sure enough, that was the case. So I think we were both third row. You kind of got a rookie that went behind you, that moved you up a row.
Yep.
And let's walk through what happened that first or second fateful lap for you.
Well, we'll start off the heat race with it was me and you. Basically, I would just call second row because you had not a rookie. I don't know. You had someone not as fast in front of you.
We
I guess.
had no idea who they were.
And then we had Spanky and Ryan Winters up front. So
that was a challenge just in our head to think, okay, how are we going to get in front of both these ex-champions? So
my goal was, let's
just shove them out the way.
I didn't think shoving it, but I'm thinking, okay, if I can either get by Ryan, which I didn't see happening, but I saw if I stick right behind Ryan, I'll get by Spanky because Spanky will be up high.
Yep.
So that was the plan. It didn't start off that well. I actually, went behind Spanky, I think it was.
Yeah.
But so you took the green, run through, 1 and 2, that was good. Down the back straight, it was great. 3 and 4 was looking good. Down the front straight, everything was going good. Good. Threw it into 1.
Not so good.
Middle of 1, I'm guessing there was a bump, or it was just when the lower ball joint decided to break.
Oh, there was lots of bumps. And that's what caused this.
Stockton was, it was rough by then, of course. But me, I don't avoid the roughness. I'll just go right through it. So, having no care, it was either a rough, hitting a big bump that broke it, or when it broke, it just fell. But that shot me straight off the track.
Oh, and I was right behind you, had the best view in the house. You went from basically the middle of 2 to just straight off the back stretch, flew over the berm, I guess you could call it, 180'd, landed backwards.
Well, I didn't 180 at first. I flew off. Basically, I'm assuming I caught a little bit of air because it had to. Because then I nosedived. Then once I nosedived, I dipped to my right side, and I'm like, oh, well, this is gonna go great. Lucky enough, it was either wet grass or just some slick dirt, so it just kind of ended up getting me into a 180, and then rested to see that
there you sat. So for those of you guys watching on YouTube right now, the intro video where Sean is backwards with the whole front just kind of caved in, That was from Stockton. Yeah, kind of a bummer. Took you out basically the first lap.
Yep.
No fault of your own. Didn't take anyone else. Just terrible luck. Yeah, then after that, it was basically just Ryan Winter, Spanky, and myself. And Spanky, I think, led like the first 5 or 6 laps with Ryan right on his butt. We came up to a lap traffic car, and me being in third, I was like, perfect. I was watching both of them kind of fight for first, and Ryan eventually kind of pulled out into the lead. Spanky got kind of screwed with the lap car and gave me the opportunity to slide into second place with 1 lap to go. And we finished second place there. Ryan Winter won that, and then Spanky third. So that was a fun heat race for me. The track in the heat race too was pretty fun because there was one slick spot like straight through the center, and you could either make the bottom work or the top. Not that I don't think any of us ran the top, but it was an option. But yeah, then I think heat race number 2 I didn't get to watch. Heat race number 3 was basically just the Weiss show with Colby and the boys. So that was pretty fun to watch. I think they all went 1, 2, 3 as well. And then we got our lineups for the main event. You obviously didn't
Starting in the back.
Yeah, didn't get the greatest start. I had a great start or great starting position, I should say. Didn't quite make it work so well. I don't know if you want to talk about how yours started.
Well, I wouldn't complain about your starting position. And
My starting position was great.
Well, I mean,
It
you
was
were up
my
there.
driving.
You didn't fall back. I ended up catching up to you, so
Yeah.
I don't think it was a problem. For me, on the other hand, I'm sitting there, it's, season opener for one, so there's a lot of new cars, new drivers, so that makes it a little bit interesting starting in the back. Had a lot of not lap traffic, but I don't even know what you're going to
A
call
little
them.
slower cars
Yeah.
than you.
You want to call them lap traffic, but they're not. Slower cars that had to work around, getting around, which was rough time, but I slowly started making my way up. I felt really fast down in 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2, I just could not find the groove to get a good run down there.
Yeah, and it was pretty wild because coming out of turn 2, it would either push all the way up to the top,
Yep.
or you'd be all the way on the bottom, and it was just like riding through the roughest waves ever. It was just a bucking bronco.
So the bottom was where I was running there, and that's what I was going through. The problem is once you came out of that, it was still slick right there.
And it
so
would push
you
you up?
would either push, or I was, okay, I'm not going to push. But then the problem was I was buzzing the tires off.
Oh, yeah.
So that was finally, as the race went on, I found the line right above that rough stuff that it was smooth drive.
And you just moved up from there?
Yep. Came up to you,
Yeah. Dude, for me, I was so frustrated. So I started third. I think right off the bat, within the first lap, I fell back to 5th, which I wasn't too worried about. I felt comfortable in the car. And then I think I was trying to get into third at the time, and I was coming down the back stretch behind Dan Guile with what seemed like 4 car lengths, and he entered right into the fast line that I wanted. I came in the same line and just closed the gap and just plowed into the back of his bumper.
Oh.
So sorry, Dan, if you're listening. Was not my intention. But anyway, I hit him so hard, and it was in the corner, that it spun me sideways. And I don't know if you got to see that or not.
No, I did
But
not.
Spanky said he almost just blasted me, which thankfully he didn't in his new car this year. So we were both able to keep going. I think I dropped back to 7th or 8th. Then got back up to 6th, I think, on a restart. And I had a hell of a restart where I was behind Buddy and Spanky. Got around both of them in turn 1. Came down the backstretch kind of side by side with Colby and fighting for 3rd. And then, unfortunately, Ben in 2nd had motor troubles or something, kind of had to pull off. And then was still kind of fighting for, at that time, 2nd with Colby, and was side by side with him when the caution came out. And then they threw me back behind Colby, which was fine, but then behind Spanky and Buddy, which I was just so bummed that they revert back to the last lap. And I think at that point, you were right behind me.
No, not yet. I think that caution is when I ended up hitting one of the cars that caused the caution. So that was,
So I could blame you?
Yeah, no. The caution came out before.
Oh, good.
And then I just came around, and when I saw him, I just locked up everything and just still slid. And I had, a car above me, so I couldn't go up quite yet. And then by the time I could go up, I was right there at him. It was like, well, do I hit him just straight on with the bumper, or do I hope I can clear him?
Sometimes those are our final thoughts.
So I was like, okay, the bumper's the safest way, because then, I didn't think, I was coming up to him like fast, and I was like, okay, it won't be that too bad. It's going to be a hard hit, but it won't be super hard.
Yeah.
It moved him a little bit, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So I got going back from that. Then that's when I think that next lap is when I got right up in behind you.
Yeah. It was not going well at that point. And then you got around me, and I think it came down to like the second to last lap, and you went right through that rough stuff on the bottom, kind of slid up, and I was like, perfect. I see my opportunity. Started to come next to you, then I started to push up. I think it was the same time you kind of buzzed off the tires, and I just clipped, I don't know if it was your back tire, your bumper, or what.
Something back there.
But, dude, that kind of like just all hell broke loose for me. It just made me point straight into the air. I slammed down, came into 3, and I was like, oh shit, something is not right. And I thought, it honestly felt like the front right was just going to fall off. And I just remember thinking like, gosh dang it. And then I looked up at the flag stand. I saw the white flag, and I was like, I'm making one more lap. I'm taking the checkered. So I kind of just tried to limp it to the finish, but we still finished.
I think
go ahead.
With I know for after all of that, I'm assuming it had to have been after that caution when I hit him, but that's when everything went haywire for me too, because
seems like there was a lot of damage that was kind of underplayed.
It was, and a lot of it was weird, like because I hit him squared bumper to bumper.
Yeah.
But when we got home, I had a front clip that was bent. My right radius rod which is my steering rod also, was pretty much all the way out. My left shock adjusters were all the way off. And, besides that, it wasn't a problem, but the biggest problem was the radius rod, because with me, especially in my head, when I put my wheel on, I adjust for, all of our weird geometry. Put the wheel on, I've got my 2 spokes coming off and my line right in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, after that caution, my wheel started moving,
God.
and moving. And the problem with me is I've just been so used, and that's like how I drive the car.
I know the feeling.
You can't reposition your hands when you're here.
No.
So when you're going straight, you're going down the straightaway like this. Now you got to turn, and it makes things so hard. And then, at one point we had another caution. I look over, I see Dad, over in the pit area, and he's telling me to run the high side. I'm like, I can't do that. I don't trust myself. I'm like, the bottom's the best. I don't even know how I can control this car, because you get so off there and like not being able to adjust your hands. All your steering, just everything changes, and I think that race had a lot of problems that happened that was really odd. And
yeah, so I got home after that race too, and had quite the bit of damage myself. So I think I did a lower control arm, a radius rod, like damn near folded a Heim 90 degrees. Upper ball joint fell out, and I think that was about it. But basically my right front, almost everything there was just kind of shot. So that was a bummer.
Yeah.
Where'd
We
you end
both
up
finished,
finishing? Yeah.
I finished 5th, I think.
So good for you. Ryan Winter won, so congratulations there. And I know Bobby watched this the other day and thought it'd be cool for a shout out for him, being as though it was his first time at Stockton.
Yes, it was.
So thanks for coming out, Bobby. Here's your shout out. And sorry your race didn't end so pretty, but there's always the next time.
And just speaking of little shout outs, just thanks to Ryan Winters for the lower.
Oh,
me
yeah.
That I owe him another one of those.
Yeah, because you broke at the track.
Monday for Daryl Reeder coming over, help straightening the front of the car back out. So
yeah, it's always helpful to have people there with parts, with the knowledge, the hands, the help. So always nice. So yeah, after our race, kind of funny, I went up into the stands, and when I came back, everyone was gone. I was the last dwarf car guy there, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to watch how the modifieds did, and dude, they put on a hell of a show to an extent. They had to cut both mains because there were so many cautions.
I heard a lot of them flipped.
A lot, yeah. But it was cool. It's neat to see cars that big, 3 wide, 4 wide in the corners. I was just kind of like, oh, crap. At some point, something bad's going to happen. And they'd managed to pull through. And for whatever reason, it seemed like all the wrecks happened in a stupid spot where you wouldn't expect it. It was like, are you kidding me? You guys were all just 3 wide, and now you can't go single file down the straightaway? But, yeah, I don't know.
I think those cars are really cool to watch, and especially being 3 wide and things, because they have a lot of geometry on those cars that are just strange. And,
yeah.
You know, they get up and the way they sit back down for the straightaway, and it probably makes sense for why that happens. Just,
yeah.
You know, not like our cars or more of like a sprint car where they can kind of settle back down. Those, they plop back down, or all their rear ends move forward and back.
Yep.
So there's a lot to them.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. So anyway, that was our Stockton race. And this week, you're off to Yuma for the first national, huh?
Yes, we are. That'll be fun.
Oh, well, good luck to you. Unfortunately, I will not be making it. Saving up for a house, so for any of you trying to hassle me, I'm not going.
It's okay. You can still hassle them.
Yeah. But anyway, I wish everyone good luck, especially to you, Sean. And we will recap Yuma and get all of Sean's thoughts and feedback when he comes back. Thanks for listening.